Good morning on this drafty Wednesday. Over the last few years, we've noticed a disheartening commoditization and mass production taking hold of a classic holiday tradition. We're talking about ugly Christmas sweaters. Call us traditionalists, but a true ugly Christmas sweater should lack any irony when it is made. Ideally, the garment's makers genuinely think their unsightly design is quite lovely. Once upon a time, before ugly Christmas sweaters were a joke, that was the case. A lot of the most popular designs of the ugly Christmas sweater revolution were taken from thrift shops or an aunt or grandmother's closet, said Brian Miller, one of the authors of Ugly Christmas Sweater Party Book, the definitive guide to getting your ugly on. They weren't really intended to be funny or mass-produced, Mr. Miller said. They were just gaudy and stood out when you put them on, and other people thought, that's hilarious. According to his research, the first large, organized ugly Christmas sweater party was at the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver in 2002. About a decade ago, the trend caught on more widely. Personally, Mr. Miller favors Nordic designs from the 1970s made with high-quality wool. The mark of a good sweater, he said, is basically something you would have opened from your great-aunt as a 10-year-old and thrown a fit. Those are the ones I love now. In the search for what makes a true ugly Christmas sweater, we called a few vintage shops around town. More is more, said Joe Marcus, the owner at Starstruck Vintage Clothing in Greenwich Village. You want a designer who just kept putting stuff on it, more trees, more designs, more flowers, more stars. When selecting a sweater, he said, use your eyes and your ears. Bells are a nice touch. It's great when people can hear you walking, like a cow. Anything that looks grandma-ish, like cardigans with big old buttons, are really popular, said Ashley Perez, a manager at L Train Vintage, with locations in Brooklyn and Manhattan. If you can't find anything truly unique, make it yourself. Handmade sweaters or DIY projects where people add lights or ornaments usually add just the right touch of ugly, she said. There are a few categories, said Mick Collins, a manager at Metropolis Vintage in the East Village. Cute ugly Christmas sweaters tend to be black and have shiny decals, like ornaments, while the truly ugly sweaters tend to be red and have details that, over time, have begun to droop. At his shop, Mr. Collins keeps a selection of contest-winning ugly sweaters, which typically have bells or Santa designs that were massacred when stitched together. There are also those sweaters that are neither cute nor revolting. They're mediocre, he said. Our racks are full of them at the end of the season, and those are the really sad ones, because they're not wanted by anyone. Here's what else is happening. Pull on that sweater, ugly or otherwise. While today is mostly sunny, with a high near 43, blustery winds could make it feel below freezing this morning. Afternoon hot chocolate runs will feel less whipped.